Good morning, anglers. This is Anglers 48, and hope all is well. As you can see, we are getting prepared for some kayaking in South Padre Island. It's been a long minute since I've used a kayak, over about 4 months, right? Since I've used a kayak. So it's long overdue. We're heading to South Padre Island possibly on Friday. No partner in crime, Tony. Hopefully we can do something, during the weekend, Tony and I. But for the most part, I've been itching to take this kayak out, and I'm gonna touch base on a couple of things, right? First and foremost, my summer break is coming to its almost end. So it's during the summer when I'm doing all kinds of fishing and scouting, and so I did quite a bit of fishing this summer, this summer break, right? But this is my kayak. It's the Catch 100, right? Sit on kayak. This kayak is a white kayak, stable, and I have flipped over on it. Tony, he's flipped over on it. I flipped over on it because it tore up on the bottom. It collected water, and there I went. Tony, he also flipped over, but because his rod holder housing gave out, and down he went as well. So it is Tuesday morning, but a lot of the fun is getting ready, right? And I like to spread the fun around, if you will. I don't like to do everything the day of, or sometimes the night before. You may forget certain things, and it's gonna be a few hours, right? This trip. When it's an overnighter, or when I want to be out there for an extensive period of time, I have to go through a checklist, because as many times as you go, as experienced as you are, you always end up forgetting something, and usually it's something important. So I went ahead and lubricated the spring. Again, I haven't used it in over 3 months, about 4 months. So haven't used it at all this summer. Barely gonna use it. And I'm gonna load it up to the truck. A lot of anglers, they spend money on extensions. I don't do that. I put as beat up as I have my truck, because this truck was well kept until it came to my hands, right? And if you're a fisherman, you throw your gear in there, you gunk it up pretty bad. So the least I can do is put a little bit of protective on there. So we're gonna load the kayak up. What do I have on the kayak so far, right? Because we want to keep it light. These things are very heavy. So I have my anchor, right? And you need a very good anchor. You don't want to anchor off and have the chop, have the wind continue to move you. So if this can hold the boat, it'll do wonders for your kayak. I started off kayaking with a very small anchor. But again, I switch off anchors between my kayak and my Bass Tracker Classic. I finally have a board, right, where I can put my battery on. Normally I would have it sitting on the bottom of the kayak, and it would be in water. So why not just get a board? And again, I'm not gonna spend and get a platform for the battery. So a nice board, it sits on here very well, and I get very few shocks, right? with my legs rub on the thing. So as I load up the kayak, I'll go into detail about its properties. All right, not very challenging, not very difficult to load up. And if you take your time and do it a day or 2 or 3 days early, you get more enjoyment. And like I said, if I need to run an errand or do something, I don't mind showing off my kayak out there. I get to do very little of that, show it off. Now, the setup, right? This is a very difficult kayak to have out there paddling, right? It's very wide, so you have to have the strength and the stamina to be able to do that, because my battery has died on me, and obviously I'm carrying all that extra weight, but I've had to paddle back. And I mean, I get there and I'm dying, right? Because of all the paddling that I'm doing. So paddling is no bueno, right? On this one, you still carry your paddles for emergency purposes. But what I went ahead and did was I put a mount, right? A motor mount on the kayak. Use some PVC pipes and I use some plywood. So I do have videos uploaded on YouTube at Anglers 48 Fishing Addict. Check those out, right? Where I discuss, installing a trolling motor on your kayak. But I leave a spacing, right, to my dominant side where I can mount my trolling motor. And this is the motor that I'm using. It's the one that is most accessible here in the valley, your Minn Kota, right? Very good trolling motor. It's a 30-pound thrust, right? 30-pound thrust trolling motor. And it is a game changer. You have 5 speeds. You're still not gonna go over 3 or 4 miles an hour unless you're traveling very light. You're someone that only weighs 100 pounds or so. You may go a lot faster, but for the most part, 3 miles an hour, maybe a little bit more if you have some help with the wind and chop. So you have that. That's about 14 pounds. Right, that's what it weighs. And what I like about the 30-pound is the kayak doesn't swing when you put that added weight. It swings when you put the 40-pound thrust, a lot more heavier. Now, battery. I buy it's a marine battery, right? And it's designed to, the name slipped my mind once again, but it's designed for trolling motors, right? It'll come to me, and I don't want to go look at the battery. Deep cycle, there it is. It's a deep cycle battery, and these are about $100, 110 with taxes. So it's a heavy battery, right? And if you can be on the boat and how much it weighs for an hour, 2 hours, moving that boat around, you should be fine using it on the kayak, right? So that's a good deal right there. A lot of people, when they have coins, right? When they have coins, they buy those lithium. Right, those are about $700 to $1,000 batteries. They don't weigh, but they weigh what a little motorcycle or lawn tractor battery weighs. So that's a pretty good deal. But Like I guess if you're, you know, if you have a good job, you get a lot of points, that's a good investment. I would hate to spend all that money and then you have a mishap and there goes $700 or $800. It's easier to just go and buy another $100 battery than another $1,000 battery. So we have the kayak on the truck right here. Now the setup, everybody is different, right? And to each their own. Whatever your setup is, go for it, right? I, like most people, I started with my trolling motor back here. Right there. That's where I started with my trolling motor. So I started having difficulty because you have to run wire harnesses, you gotta run cables, and if you're not mechanically inclined, it's gonna be a mess, a tangled mess, right? So I did that, my partner Crank Tony did that, and the thing about having your motor here on the back is that if for some reason you get a kink or the motor gives out or the prop breaks or is entangled, how are you going to remedy the situation if you're 5 feet, 10 feet, 20 feet deep in water? You're in trouble, right? So, I know it looks cooler, it looks nice, this and that, right? But that would be no bueno right there, here in the back. So we got it going, Tony and I eventually, but I started seeing some videos and I decided to have it right here, where I have the motor at my accessibility. There's any issues, there's any problems, I can take it down, take it apart, and mechanic it right here, fix it. Oh, there's something stuck on the prop, you know, and the shoreline is very far away, I can take care of it, drop the anchor, do what I need to do. Very difficult to do it when it's back over here. And it works just fine. Once again, it's a big battery, so you're not gonna hurt it. Oh, you're gonna make the motor work harder and it's gonna kill your battery. No, it won't. Again, it can pull a big boat down the bay, up and down the bay while you're fishing. Going maybe a mile, less than a mile or so, fishing, it's not going to do any damage to that battery. So that's what I did, right? Right there. Nice little motor. Once again, going back, it may look better over here, but if there's any issues, I can easily fix it from there. I don't have any problems with my steering. I can still, you know, get around my area very good. So that's pretty good right there, guys. Now, fishing poles. Again, other anglers, they have a great setup of poles, right? They look nice when you put them up there. I did something a little bit different. I got a milk crate, right? I got some PVC, painted it black, attached it to the milk crate, and this is where I carry my rods. I don't have them all jumbled up over here. I'm not taking up any space from the rod holder assembly. They're out of the way. Right here in the back, I have more space in the front. And the milk crate, I can put my things that I may need, emergency stuff over here in the back. The hatch, I have an emergency life jacket, right? You lose your life jacket, you forget it all of a sudden, because it happens, you forget the life jacket. Oh man, how am I gonna fish? You gotta abide by the law, right? You got an emergency one right there. And I always use my life jacket. Always. Again, you've heard stories of people drowning in 3 feet of water, 2 feet of water. Big difference. So what if it's bulky? So what if it doesn't look nice? It's gonna save our lives, right? Okay, so we have all this right here. I tie it down. I have I got some ties right here. Secure it very well. I have what I need, right? I got my net. Put everything, make sure, go through that checklist. You always have to be prepared. A lot of the times, that's one of the things we forget. How do we measure what we catch? In the past, I've made that mistake. I go out there and I don't have a measuring tape, or I forget. So what do? I have this measuring tape, right? I have the measuring tape running across the mount. I have a measuring tape that runs this way on the other side of the kayak. But I don't want to use the kayak, right? I don't want to use the kayak. I marked my fishing pole 15, 20, 28. Those are the number 1 markers that you need. 15 inches. The tail needs to cross this green line right here. 15 is right here, but I want the tail to cross this line. 20, the red. I want the nose of the red to at least go past the green, just to be on the safe side. 20 inches. 28, I want the tail to be at least on this side of the green, just to be on the safe side, right? We don't know what kind of game warden we're gonna get. Some of them, they're just doing their jobs. They have to give out those tickets because people weren't listening. So I would rather be on the safe side. So this is what I do to my fishing reels, because it's happened to me in the past. I'm looking at my pockets. Where's my measuring tape? And that's when you start catching, when you don't have the necessary tools for the job. Okay, once again, hitting Saltwater Island. Friday, one of the days where the winds are going to be on the low end. No part in Grand Tony, right? So what's the setup? I'm going to take 4 poles. 4 poles. I like to tie my kayak to my belt and let it follow me as I fish, because that's my passion. That is the way I mostly enjoy my fishing. Yes, I'm on the kayak and I like to do that, but I love fan casting. That's what I love, unless it's a popping cork. If I am working the popping cork, I'm at a certain depth that I like, cast out, and I'm popping, and I'm moving. Now I wanna try the artificial, fank cast and move on. Fank cast and move on. You're covering a lot of ground. A lot of the times, if you're just casting to one side, you're missing a whole lot to the other side. Now, going back, this is the setup. When I go to SPI, I plan to look for some shrimp. And places where I'm gonna hit first, SPI, we're gonna go to Brownsville Bait and Tackle. All right. If Captain Carlos does not have any, we'll try Gordon's. Right. Gordon's doesn't have any, then we'll go to that other one, Quick Stop in Port Isabel. So that's what we want to do, right? Shrimp. And this is the baby that I'm using. I sincerely recommend this reel, right? And a lot of us, the most experienced anglers, right? They're used to comfort. They're used to smooth reelings. Other anglers that may not be aware, they're struggling with the reel, and they may think that that's how a reel is supposed to be. So if there's a lot of resistance on the reel, that's a turnoff for me. So the Creed 10 3000, that's a beautiful working reel. The Creed 10 3000, this one right here. I haven't seen them lately. The innards, I'm talking about bearings, gear and all those, good. Not so much the cosmetic, and that's the least of it, right? So it's starting to fade. It's starting to peel, but it's the smoothest thing around. I've seen Shimano. This one overtakes the Shimano because I can have a 3 pound. I can have a 3 ounce weight at the end of this line, and I'm reeling it in, and it's like if I don't have anything on the other side. That's how smooth it is, and that's how you really find out what kind of a reel you have. Put a heavy weight on it. Put a 5 ounce. Put a 5 ounce. Start reeling it in. If you start doing this, right, that's not a good reel. What you want to do is put a big weight on it, and it's as smooth as can be. Get that reel, right? So this is the Creed 10 3000. Beautiful reel, really recommend it. Now, what's the plan? One game warden asked me one time, how was your day out on the water? And I answered, I take that back. Going around the lines of, what was the best part of your trip? And they were asking me this as I was making my way out of the water, right? We were done. And I tell them, making that out of the water safely. You know, it is. Now, if I catch something, if I catch something on film, oh, that's gravy. That's a plus, right? Because many of us, we've gone fishing, and we're out there, and mishaps happen. I flipped over on this one. Midnight, New Year's Day, New Year's Eve into New Year's Day. Flipped over. Midnight, Port Mansfield. Cold. Water was about my chest. That could have ended a different way. But, number one, you always want to go, have a good time, and make it out safely. Because you can go, oh, I got the limit. Got a flounder. Got a limit of reds. Oh, my new PB. And then disaster. Something happens. No. So that's my number one, that everything is good. Number two, not get skunked. We don't want to get skunked, right? We want to go out there, see if we can catch something. Hopefully we can get something on film, not get skunked. Third one, want to be able to get the limit, right? Because that's my thinking. I want to be able to hopefully get the limit, right, of trout. Because I've caught some reds and trout there on the bayside in SPI. So we want to be able to first see if we can get a limit, a quick limit of trout, right? So we get a quick limit of trout, then still don't learn, right? I have my Shimano 4000, right? And these babies right here, for the most part, I purchased them for freshwater fishing, since that's what I'm doing mostly now, freshwater fishing. But they serve me really well of when I want to use them for saltwater. So the next goal, if I have the trout limit, is see if we can cast these bad boys out there with some cut bait and maybe get into the redfish, right? Again, there may be a possibility that I get some keeper redfish using this setup, popping cork, live shrimp. There may be a possibility, but if anything, we'll go with these bad boys, put some cut bait, right, and fish the rest of the morning with this setup. Now, the thing about the bayside in Port Mansfield in SPI is that a lot of the redfish and snook and sheepshead, they like to hover over the mangroves, and there's a lot of mangroves trees there by the shore. And it happens, guys. A lot of us, we're so focused, we're fishing and we're casting away, right? But none of us look back to the shoreline where there's trees, where there's rocks. That's where all the big boys are. They are. That's where all the monster snooks are. The sheep's head, snapper, and redfish. You may not find any trout there, but check that out, guys. We're so used to casting this way. No, hey, give the shoreline a shot. Give those rocks that you see a shot. You'll be surprised, right? So, yeah, I want to get those trout, but I also want to leave a little bit of some time to hit those spots in the back, right? When you see the mangrove trees, the rocks. By the way, the Creed, you're looking at 10-pound test, no, 8-pound test line, 8 pounds. And Shimano, you're looking at about 12. You already saw that I'm using popping cork. We're gonna use live shrimp. These are some of the other artificial baits that we're gonna be using. Now, the spoon is very essential. Once again, my father, he had about, to this day, he has about 10 to 12 spoons in his tackle box. 10 to 12 spoons. And I didn't become a big fan of the spoon until I never kept it in my tackle box until one time I was fishing and hadn't caught anything. And I see this guy, this angler. He shows up, and I'm looking at his setup. Right? We look at angler setups, and sometimes we have to do that. We have to take a moment, study what somebody else is doing, what is working for somebody else. So I saw the setup, and he had one skinny pole, and at the end of the pole he had a spoon. And he's fishing the same water I was, and he was fishing the same spot I was. And in 20-30 minutes, he comes out, limit of rigs. Here I am with 3 or 4 fishing poles, cut bait, and trying some artificials. He goes in there, 1 pole, 1 spoon, and he comes out with some nice, beautiful redfish. So SPI, the bay, gold spoon, right? I will see what luck I have using this artificial shrimp, just for science purposes. I want to see if I can get a strike with this one. Never been very successful using artificial shrimp. I've been successful using gulp, right, off a popping cork, but not an artificial shrimp. Not even with voodoo shrimp, right? So I'm gonna be using this one. No rattles, by the way. And this is a freshwater artificial bait. The clutch, right? The minnow clutch. And this one, it's not like a bopper. This one sinks. And as you're reeling in, you're popping. And that's what it does. It just. So I've caught a trout on this one. So I know, I tried it once. In Port Mansfield, caught a trout. So I know that it is possible to catch saltwater fish with this. I just need to use it in an environment where there may be fish. And I have a few others I may not use, but I'm still gonna take them just in case. Sometimes the mornings, they do get pretty long, and you can go through the different setups, colors. The next one is going to be the tandem rig. I'm a big fanatic of the tandem rig because I've always said, if you're gonna cast an artificial lure, doesn't it make sense that you have another one right behind it? Right? Because you can be fishing with a lure, redfish season, trout season, too lazy to go get it. But now you got 2 of them. So they won't do a double take. They'll lunge now that there's 2 of them, right? So that's what I'm a big fan of, the tandem rig. I do have the trout rig. I wasn't able to find it. I may have misplaced it somewhere, but the trout rig is a good one to use, right? So I'm gonna continue with the checklist, but you gotta remember, even starting the preparation process very early, you can still forget stuff. Your knife, your mask for the sun, your beverages. We gotta stay hydrated, right? it's very early in the morning and I'm already soaking. So I'm gonna continue loading, getting everything ready, and I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Make sure to check out my Facebook page, Anglers 48 Fishing Addict. Follow me if you haven't. Consider joining my fishing group pages, Anglers 48 Fishing Addict, the Anglers 48 Show. If you have a podcast, if you like to stand behind the camera and talk about anything fish related, put it up there. If you like to listen to other people talk about fishing stuff, you know. And the Anglers 48 Show, Fishing Addict on YouTube. You have any YouTube videos, fishing videos, you want to load those onto that one, go for it. All right. Thanks for everything, guys. I'll leave you with that. And we'll see how it goes. All right. I don't like to go live when I'm doing some saltwater fishing, but if everything went well at SPI, that's when I go live at the end, right, where I can show off the fish that I have and whatnot and stuff like that. So usually Port Mansfield, I usually fish long hours there, and I don't want to run down on the camera, but I'll leave you with that. Gotta go. Love you guys. Thanks for sticking all the way to the end, and yeah, catch you later, guys.